kasi di ba for most Filipino, syempre may mga nag-nurse, for the job, serving Filipino people. Pero may mga iba din na to go abroad. Pero ikaw, asa abroad na, nag-nurse pa.
Time, yung ate ko, sabi ng mom ko mag-nursing siya. So may naramdaman na ako na baka yun na rin yung path ko. Yun din yung sabi ng mom ko. And nakinig din sa parents natin na
honor your mother and father.
Pero ako naman, parang hindi, happy ako. This is what I want. This is what I will do.
Hi everyone, my name is Veronica. On this channel, I create informative videos about nursing career and what it's like living here in New Zealand. So if you're new here, please hit like and subscribe. Salamat po!
My name is Nurse Denise, 14 years old when I came to New Zealand. I am from Las Pinas. We came here to New Zealand because my father got a job opportunity, and that was in the year 2008.
Tapos, 14 years old? Yes? Young. Teenager. Tapos, ano yun, bale sa Philippines? High school ba yun? Or fourth year high school ka when you moved in New Zealand?
Second year high school ako noon, nung pumunta kami dito.
Tapos, so nag-high school ka ulit. Anong year yun, bale dito ka tumba sa New Zealand?
Nag-year 11 ako dito, although dapat year 10 siya. So, nag-year 11 ako dito. Yun na yung high school. Yun na yung papuntang university. From year 11, year 12, year 13.
Why did you study nursing?
Kasi when you're younger, you don't know what to do. Actually, maging YouTuber noon, comedian, ganyan, musician. Pero, hindi naman din kasi practicality. So, number one is practicality. And that time, yung ate ko, sabi ng mom ko mag-nursing siya. So may naramdaman na ako na baka yun na rin yung path ko. Pero actually, because of my previous interests in health, nung bata ako, like nutrition, diet, so I said na I didn't mind pursuing nursing. So yun yung number one, practicality. And number two, financial din. Kasi that time, I applied for University of Auckland. Tanggap ako sa other courses except nursing, natanggap ako sa food science, economics. Hindi ko na-realize ko hindi ko naman gusto yun. Actually, na-realize gusto ko pala nursing. So, it was mas okay siya financially to be in Rotorua na doon na lang ako nag-nursing. Kasi andun din yung family ko, so mas makakatipid. So, that time. And number 3 din, yun din yung sabi ng mom ko. And nakinig din sa parents natin na
honor your mother and father.
Pero yun nga na yun din yung mga reason ko, and I naman parang hindi, happy ako. This is what I want, this is what I will do.
What was it like studying nursing in New Zealand?
May 2008 kami dumating na New Zealand. Nag-aral ako ng nursing January 2011. Doon na kami nag-move sa Rotorua.
Sa New Zealand, how long?
3 years. Yung full bachelor's degree.
How much yung tuition? If you don't mind me asking. Yung 3 years, magkano yun?
Okay, kasi may student loan ako noon. So, eligible ako for student loan that time.
Resident na kayo noon, bale? Or citizen na kayo noon?
Parang resident yet namin noon. So, I think the tuition fee itself was around mga 6,000 New Zealand dollars
per year. Oh, because guys, if you're watching this video, yun, there will be difference with the tuition if you are paying domestically, yun nga, if resident ka or citizen ka, or if the international student ka, which means na, other citizenship, ganyan. So, mas mataas yung bayad sa tuition. So, 6,000, mataas pa rin yung 6,000 actually, na per year.
Pero kung sa may mga nanonood dito na if ever na gusto nyo kung eligible kayo for loan, what I would not do back then was kung kaya nyo naman na wag kayong mag-student allowance, o syempre very difficult yun. Pero that time kasi, I was living with my family. Kung pwedeng as much as possible, liitan nyo yung allowance nyo. Kung kaya lang naman, it will really decrease yung student loan. For those lang naman na, if ever. Ay, sorry, student, dalawa pala yon yung binibigay ng government. May student allowance for those eligible, and they don't have to pay the government if you're eligible for that. Meron namang student loan or living costs na, for example, 150 per week, yun yung loan mo sa government every week. na eventually pipay mo. Paminsan, kasing laki na ng tuition fee mo yung naborrow mo dun sa living cost, which is, yun nga. So, kung kaya nyong i-reduce lang naman ng konti.
And then comparing yung studies mo sa Philippines na doon ka nag-aral ng elementary, high school, and then pinagpatuloy mo yung high school dito sa New Zealand, and then eventually nursing, may nakita ka bang different? Saan mas madali or mas mahirap? Based sa experience mo lang naman.
Yung Philippines kasi, di ba, identification, memorization, multiple choices.
Or false.
Oo, kasi nga nandun ka buong araw sa school, makinig ka lang. Pagka parang familiar to letter C, ganyan, okay na. Nakaka-catch up ka pa rin dito. Yung style kasi sa New Zealand ng curriculum nila is essay-based. So it means kailangan mong i-define yung term, and then you have to learn how to explain it, and then you also have to devise your own example, yung analysis mo. So it shows your understanding. Hindi lang siya identification. I think yun yung one of the major differences that I saw. Culture very hard kasi 'di ba migrant ka and you're different. So yun yung kailangan matuto ka mag-adjust kasi ikaw yung pumunta dito sa bansa na to. And natural, iba yung, hindi naman tayo half, ganyan na doon. Hindi naman
American ka! Huwag ka amin! Yung blood mo yung buhok ko, no? English lang po.
Sorry, hindi. Kailangan, ikaw yung matuto mag-adjust. Katulad nung una, mahirap kasi ako lang yung Pilipino sa klase namin, or konti lang. Kailangan, pagka may mga konting asaran sa simula, kailangan matatag ka ba na, syempre sa simula masasaktan ka, pero matututo ka na rin mag-adjust kasi iba ka hanggang unti-unti makikilala ka na nila kasi hindi mo close up yung sarili mo.
And then ang mga sa studies mo ba sa nursing, may mga quiz din kayo ganyan? Parang Philippines din.
Quiz, ganyan, recitation, parang mainly kasi dito self-directed. So, they will give you the topics and all that. Parang mainly, hindi sila yung preceptor, yun din yung kasama mo. And then, like your experience sa CAP, itong student nurse educator, they pop in like once a week, or twice a week to see how you're going.
Tapos sa experience mo being a student nurse in New Zealand, ano yung parang pinaka-challenging, and then ano naman yung parang mga achievements na na-overcome mo, di ba?
Wala, joke lang.
Puro parang challenges.
Parang, yung...
graduate.
Totoo yun. Kasi, yung mapasa mo yung clinical placement mo, yung practicum mo, yun na yun lahat eh. It means na parang naka-adjust ka sa mga peers mo, naka-adjust ka sa routine. It means na na gawa mo yung CAF form mo, or meron din ba kayo nun sa CAF mo? I think that's very important for those who would like to study in New Zealand.
Please share your job hunting experience.
Ako kasi, on your last year ng training dito, they encourage you to apply sa NETP, which is a nurse entry to practice program, yung transition from student to being a nurse. So, syempre, nag-apply ako. By God's grace, natanggap ako. So, 1 year yon. Pero after nun, nabigyan ako ng job na puro filling in maternity leaves, like 3-month maternity leave, 6-month maternity leave, 8-month maternity leave, until eventually, na-permanent ako. I thank God for that talaga. Yung kapatid ko naman, tsaka yung si mama, kasi nag-nursing din sila sa New Zealand, dito sila nag-aral, they found it a bit hard. So, magkaiba kami ng situation. Silang dalawa, ang daming applications talaga before they got a job, but eventually they did with persistence. Silang dalawa nagsimula sa rest home, and then eventually just switching jobs. So, yung mom ko ngayon nasa Aussie na siya. She's in a hospital in Aussie, but hindi niya hinayaan na hindi siya naka-NETP or anything like that hinder her. So, nag-apply lang talaga sila, nag-apply. And same to my sister, nasa Taurangan na siya ngayon.
What is it like working in your ward?
I'm currently a staff nurse sa OPRS wards. And yun, OPR stands for Older Person Rehabilitation Services. Pero stroke din siya ngayon. So, yun yung mga patients namin, mga more in geriatric. So, it's getting better naman. At the moment, 5 yung parang maximum. It's very physically intensive. So 4 or 5 patients per RN naman, and may mga HCA naman na tumutulong. Pagka night shift ka, so yun nga, mainly paminsan 2 or 3 nurses, depende din sa kung gaano kabigat yung patients or what their needs are. So, yun yung amount of nurses. So, maybe at night, maybe tag 10 kayo, or tag 9, or tag 8, or something like that. So, syempre, you come to work, and yung handover, and then after that, you check on everyone, and you see kung, you greet them, and make sure that they're safe, they're in their beds. So, sa rehab ward, kasi we want to encourage them to get back to where they were before, yung buhay nila bago sila either na aksidente or nahulog. Yung role namin as a nurse, we help them, we assist them, kunyari, like getting up out of bed, and eating yung sa meals nila, and then getting them showered, getting them dressed, and then helping them to mobilize to the toilet until, slowly by slowly nag-i-improve sila. So, yun yung parang mainly day in the life in my ward. So, we assist them in their daily cares. Paminsan nga naisip ko yung things that we take for granted, and then you're helping these people, yung mga basic cares. So, and kung may mga deterioration, syempre you watch out for that.
So far, ano naman yung feeling mong pros and cons of being a rehab nurse?
Pwede bang cons muna para naman
Sige, go. Para we'll end on a positive note.
Very physically intensive talaga. Like, labor-intensive siya na yung patients are bedbound or restricted, or maybe meron silang cognitive impairment that they need a lot more understanding. So, bilang ikaw yung nurse, your role is to care for them and understand them in their current condition. So buong puso, buong kaluluwa binibigay mo sa trabaho mo. That's yung pros naman nun. It can be very, very rewarding. That may be one of the reasons that I am still there, praise God. Nakikita mo sila, like people who have fallen, who have had a fracture, or they have had a stroke, or parang they're adjusting to their new normal. And ikaw bilang nurse, tinutulungan mo sila. And then later on, makikita mo yung little improvements. Sila nakakapag-toilet na sila mag-isa, kahit konting steps by themselves. And at the worst case scenario, yung mga people na we just give them comfort, for example, palliative patients, I find it very rewarding. Syempre not when they pass, but when you find out that you have given the maximum care.
Please share some of the important lessons you've learned while you're living here in New Zealand.
I would not say maybe advice, but something that I would share from my own experience naman is definitely, putting God first, kasi siya lang talaga yung sandigan mo, because, like, peace that you need every day, strength, the joy to even get up out of bed and do your job. Alam mo, especially nung nag-B ako, even up till now, I would take little breaks just to take a prayer because you need Him every step of the way. So, yun yung number 1 ko na parang gusto ko talaga i-share. And number 2, kung meron kayong target, if you have a family or if you want to establish yourself here, na nawa, maging firm yung resolve nyo kasi ang daming darating dito. Like, baka yung nakasanayan nyo sa Pilipinas, hindi pwedeng ganito na rin dito. Magbabago lahat. So, there will be difficult times, homesick. So, dapat counting the cost siguro, na alam mo na yun, darating yung homesick, darating yung mag-a-adjust ka kasi migrant ka. Yung mga ganong bagay, sana nawa ma-count mo yung cost, hindi ka ma-shock pagdating mo dito. And just keep getting up each day. Just day by day, take mo lang yung araw. And siguro number 3 is being observant. Kasi nga migrant tayo dapat mag-adjust sa kanila, tayo maging more understanding, although paminsan mahirap. I found it rewarding na parang paminsan, kung bago ka sa ward or bago ka sa isang place or workplace or rest home or whatever it is, or whatever job, even not nursing related, na i-take mo dito sa New Zealand while you're starting, maging observant ka kung paano the thing works. Kasi very pragmatic sila dito. So it means na very on the job. Talagang parang dun ka nila ma-recognize pag nakikita nila yung willingness mo to learn. Just keep asking. So, yun yung pagiging observant sa culture, respect.
Was it worth moving to New Zealand even though it was not your initial plan?
Yes. Talaga naman. Talagang resounding yes. Kasi, I cannot picture my life anything else than having come here and being a nurse. Kasi nga, yung gusto ko nga nung bata ko, na komedyante or kung ano man lang, something artsy, hindi nga siya practical. But now, I'm so thankful na, kahit napakahirap din naman nung journey, and I'm sure mas mahirap din yung mga walang pamilya na pumunta dito. Yung na may job ka na, then siguro sa free time mo, doon ka na mag ng mga gusto mong hobbies. Pero yung having this job, I'm so thankful talaga. Hindi nawawala yun every day. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hope this video helps you